Hey, hey, hey!
Alrighty, welcome back to Viking Views. Today we got some of the cast of our latest play that we just did. Introduce you guys yourselves.
I'm Danielle Rancifer.
I'm Ryan Smith.
I'm Audrey Youngman.
So, if you guys want to explain what the play was and what it was about.
Sure. The play was called Father the Bride, and there's a movie version of it. It's kind of old, but I don't know how closely it's based off of it, but it's
They're
pretty
both
close.
based off the same book, so.
Yeah.
I've never seen
Okay,
it,
so it's about a wedding. Kay is getting married.
Yes, I'm the bride.
Yeah, and it's just about what goes into planning a wedding and like the chaos, and there's almost a falling out of the bride and groom. The father doesn't really like the groom that much. It's kind of chaotic.
Yeah,
Anything else
it's like just kind of a bunch of cliches almost, like a lot of jokes that you'd think had been run into the ground and then they just run them into the ground again. And that's kind of what makes it funny is because, like, we're all aware of these things, like, oh yeah, men and women, they don't always see eye to eye, but like it's really funny when
It's also set in the 50s.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
also set in the 50s, so it was not the most anyways, anyways,
I don't have anything to add.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Summary.
Let me go.
Yeah.
Alright, so what was like the attendance like? How many people showed up? Was it like full? Was it more or less than you guys expected?
Go ahead.
I think for me it was a lot more than I expected. Usually Thursday nights are like pretty empty, but I just feel like Thursday nights are really good. The Saturday matinee was packed.
Yeah, I was gonna say Thursday was not what I expected at all.
Yeah, and Saturday matinee, no one ever shows up to those things. It was like
Packed.
fully packed.
Almost every night was pretty full.
Yeah, it was pretty full, which is nice. I think it's probably because a lot of people liked the movie, maybe, so they were excited to see it, which was nice.
I'd say it was a lot more elderly people than I was expecting. Like, I was expecting a lot of like adult age people, and then there were a lot of like elderly people that were like, that was really funny and good job. And even too, which I almost seems contradictory, there were a lot of like teenagers there too, and I was thinking that this would be more like 20-30-year-old people, like adults of the teenagers, but it was like grandfathers and the teenagers, and they were both laughing at all the jokes, and I was like, that's kind of unusual, but I thought it was fun.
Alright, then another one would be like, obviously you guys were some of the main characters, so a lot of work goes into it. Behind the scenes, like, what goes into it, such as like memorizing lines, like, I know it takes a lot of preparation, but for you guys, like, what was the biggest struggle, like, behind the scenes?
Oh, can I
Go
start?
for it. Yeah.
In the play, I have a fiance, and learning how to like be comfortable with him to make us seem like a halfway like decent, believable couple was really difficult, because like we didn't really know each other all that well. So like we had to practice like running into each other's arms and like fake kissing, which was really awkward. But eventually we got there. So go us. But I think line memorization and then just like being a believable couple was definitely the hardest part.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about line memorization. These two have had their fair share of lead roles, but I really had quite a bit. I spent about 3 hours every night for a good 3 weeks just practicing lines over and over again. Like it was crazy. So we would do rehearsal, and I have extracurriculars before rehearsal, so I would do my extracurricular, say Spire, and then I would have rehearsal until 5:30. I'd get home, eat dinner until 6:15, and then I would practice lines for 3 hours, and then I would start doing homework. And it was that for at least 2 weeks, probably 3 or 4. And even still at the end of the play, like there were still lines that I wouldn't always get 100% of the time right on time, and it was just crazy.
I mean, same line memorization. I feel like in a musical it's a little easier because you can put lines to songs. So when you come off of a the last thing I did before this obviously was the musical, and you come back and do a play, there's not much to go off of other than other people's lines around you. So how I practiced was I listened to a different school's version of the play, so it wasn't exactly right, but at least I could get somewhat of an idea of timing. So yeah.
I can't even imagine having to do like memorize all those lines and then
No,
having
so
to like
bad.
put that into practice. Like you can know your lines, but I just can't even imagine like you have to remember who's before you, where you gotta
Yeah.
be, and you still gotta put emotions into it. Like
Blocking too. We didn't talk about blocking.
Oh, blocking it's like so weird because it's like you're saying those lines, but then you have to like remember where you're moving. And I
blocking
remember
is pretty much where you go.
yeah,
on
so
stage.
like because you have to
Like
figure out
where
like
you move,
when
yeah.
you move and when you move, and it's so weird because you'll be in the middle of a line and you're like, oh crap, I gotta move, and you're just like, and then you just like run to
and
where
you
you
have
need
to
to be.
find a way to make it natural and how to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it's like you think you have blocking down and then you add the sets and the props in like the last week and it's like, oh, so I have to actually do this 2 times faster than I've been rehearsing it.
And those are the weeks that we stay here from 6 to 10.
yeah.
And that's probably actually, I know you guys didn't really ask a question about this, but out of everything, that's probably the most annoying part. Not necessarily the hardest, but just the fact that we built this muscle memory in a space that really isn't the space that we are going to be performing in. And that's part of the reason why I think Mr. DeVries published that article in the Echo. It's really frustrating to have all this good chemistry, good muscle memory going, and then, oh shoot, this is twice the space, and we have so much more length, but no more depth, and a ton of stuff just that all of a sudden is wrong, and we have to fix and change our muscle memory, and that's just a part of it that I think that doesn't really get a ton of attention, although it has recently.
100%. Okay, closing remarks. You guys anything to say?
It was a good last play.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did it for our last one.
Yeah, that's true. I'm glad I was able to be lead role once.
Yeah, same. It was surreal, like doing that final bow because I've never gotten to do that before. And just like walking out in that wedding dress. The drama program is just like a real gift, I think, to anyone who's involved in it. So I would recommend it 100%.
That's awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Obviously, we appreciate it. So that's the end of that.